Instead of a blank screen.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the April 10th South Weaver Planning Commission meeting. We will start off and, well, I guess first, Commissioner Boatwright and Commissioner Roberts are excused for tonight's meeting, and Commissioner McFadden will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now open up the mic for public comments, and if it's related to any of the agenda items, because there are public hearings, there will be an opportunity to speak directly on those, but we'll open up the mic. Did you have something?
Yeah. The third item, the conditional use permit, will not have a public hearing. So if they have concerns, they want to discuss the short.
Oh, yes, yes.
For the public comment.
Yeah, if you have anything on the Johnson property for number 8, use this time because there won't be a hearing on that specifically. And then we just ask that you keep it to 3 minutes or less, no other talking unless you're at the microphone. And then just please state your name, city, and yeah, that's it. And we'll open it for public comment.
Yes. Right to the mic.
My name is Maggie Orzakowski, and I now live by myself. And my property abuts up to the 1.8 acres right beside my yard. And I am very concerned that if it were allowed to be built on there, more than one family per building, it would impact the value of my house, which I'm struggling to keep, and I don't want to lose. And I don't want to lose value in it. But when there become multiple units in one house, it does make a difference to the value of property nearby. So I don't understand why, if the person who would like to build on that, who now owns the property, would like to build single-family homes on it, single-family homes are allowed on the minimum density already zoned. Is that correct? Okay. So why would it need to be changed if that person who wants to build is going to build that? I don't understand that.
In the public.
Yeah, we'll address any questions later. We won't respond during the public comment section.
Okay. You won't forget.
I wrote it down.
They need to understand that their hearing is separate. The hearing is separate from this
Public comment.
If
Yeah.
they're talking about-
If it, just a reminder that if it is related to the two red items, that we'll have an opportunity to talk directly for those.
Hi, my name is Michela, and we live not too far from here up on the hill in South Weber. I have done some research, and I know that Utah is becoming more and more of a prime spot for real estate, and especially for the cash and flow. And builders that build apartment buildings tend to also do this too, because they want to build their property portfolio. Apartment owners make their money through rental income. This is a business solely for their own interest. Apartment building owners, they receive tax breaks opportunities. Investors typically will get a full return, offset the high cost of ownership, and the majority of operating expenses can be written off at the end of each year. Another assessment I looked up, apartments yield higher profitability than houses due to the multiple income and the scale, etc. For acreage, a 2 or 3 story apartment building can create 20 units per acre. Many rental property apartments are considered investments. They're considered businesses. The disadvantage facts, negative impacts with apartments outweigh the positive, in my opinion. They remove most of all the vegetation, typically, which are the bushes, grass, trees, and they're replaced with asphalt. Disproportionate to the surrounding landscape, especially with surrounding houses, as this woman had said, would be overtowering the average home, creating an eyesore. Crime rate will definitely increase. I have done my research on that, and I've spoken to other agencies about that and their demographic. It does increase crime, and that includes robberies, home invasions, and car break-ins. That's through Property Management Incorporated website. You end up with more trash, graffiti, street traffic increase, and noise pollution. It affects home values with the apartments in the area, because people look at that and they may say, I don't know if I want to move into this area because look at all the density here with all these extra people and in such a small area, and of course the volume. So homes will be affected. Builders of apartments are only interested in their investment and profit. They are not focused or care about the impacts it causes the surrounding homeowners and neighborhoods and communities. There is no interest because they don't live there themselves, strictly for their own benefit. The objective is the financial gain in return. The fact is apartments, the builder and or owner yield considerably more money than if they build homes on that same land. My story, I have lived a portion of my life in apartments. I can tell you some disturbing facts of what I personally have seen and experienced. I lived in good upscale areas. However, that didn't stop crime. Crime, those who commit it looks for opportunity even in lovely communities. I had my car severely damaged by a person or persons that threw house paint all over the hood, windshield, and grill of my car. It cost thousands of dollars in damage. On several occasions, people trying to break into our apartments. The surrounding homes were also experiencing people trying to do the same. Cars broken into surrounding homes were also affected by the homes in that area. One tenant, her car was stolen in plain sight and took weeks for her to get it back. People doing drugs in the parking lot and along the street even saw drug deals. Someone had stolen a vehicle from a nearby home, then dumped it in our apartment complex parking lot. A person illegally entered a unit that was empty, squatted there due to the laws, was able to live there for months while the courts took their time to act. And in the meantime, he was threatening and harassing the neighborhood and other tenants in the apartment building. In Utah, to remove a tenant, you have to have a court order. It can take 1 to 4 months or longer to evict someone. Surrounding homeowners want to be aware of the impacts and changes apartments will bring to their neighborhood, and it will change it. An invitation for trouble. So with everything that I have shared with you, you want to ask yourself, would you be okay with an apartment building being in your neighborhood? Thank you.
Thank you. If there's no other public comments, we'll close public comments. And then we'll move to the next action item.
Do we need to make a motion?
Oh, I need a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing
I'll second.
for public comment. Thank
Public
you.
comment.
Yeah, public comment.
That's right,
Yeah.
it's the hearing.
That's the,
Yeah.
that's the hearing.
You have to
It's
remember.
the hearing.
It's the hearing.
So the March 13th, 2025 minutes, is there?
The only thing I saw
Anything?
was the cap is spelled KAP in there, and I think it's KAPP.
That was my only thing I noticed.
No, I get so confused because I know both of them.
Is there one that's KAP and
Yeah.
one that's KAPP? So can we just make sure to clarify that we've got the correct owner name? That was my only comment too. So I'm gonna make a motion to approve the consent. Yes.
I know, I noticed that, I needed to make the change from, the new chairperson to Scola. So, I have the you call for the vote, I just need to go in and change all of that to Scola. just so
Okay.
you know that.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Missed that.
See, that's why we have Michelle. All right, then I'm gonna move to approve the consent agenda for March 13th, 2025 minutes with the following amendments. And it's just that we make sure that we have the correct owners' names for the caps and that also we've got the correct commissioner appointment as discussed.
In a second?
I'll second that. Oh, you said,
You can second.
Oh, I can?
Yeah.
Yeah, and all in favor?
Yes.
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 Can I ask a quick question? Are you voting on the zoning right now?
No.
Now we'll move into the public hearing for rezone the Namazi, did I say that right? Subdivision, property located at 1945 East South Weaver Drive. We need to make a motion to open,
Do we want to have
or do you want to talk right now?
If
Wanna go
you'd like,
first?
I could do a brief overview.
Yeah, let's do that
before opening?
before we open it. So I haven't opened it yet.
And if we could scroll to the zoning map, that would be great. This is a request for a rezone from residential low density and a small sliver of agricultural on the south section of the property to residential moderate density, and it's on 2 acres. The property is just south of South Weaver Drive. And the proposal is, there's two concept plans in the staff report. One is for 6 lots and one is for 5. The density in the RM zone would allow for 5 single-family lots. It would take access off the 1950 East Stubb Street that you can see there. The general plan, which is the city's overall land use plan, designates this land for moderate density development. The surrounding properties to the south are a moderate density now. There are similar sized lots of what would be proposed. And that is basically the density would limit them to 5 dwelling units per acre. And the general plan supports that. Not 5 dwelling units per acre, 5 dwelling units on both acres.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna make that clarification.
Thank you very much.
And Lance, just because I think it might alleviate some concerns, the lots are designated for single family residences.
That's
They are
correct.
not designated for apartment complexes nor multifamily development.
Correct.
And you're saying 5 on each side?
No.
Sorry.
Each is 5 total.
5 total lots would
5
be the
total
maximum
lots.
density on those 2 acres.
2 acres. And so
Yep.
on that property right there, so the limit, if I understand correctly, and that's the one that I got up there.
Yes,
There would only be allowed 5 buildings, and in each of those 5 buildings,
And-
there would only be allowed 1 single.
And we'll open up the public hearing. We've closed public comment, so give me 1 second to open it and then you have your opportunity to address anything else that needs to be addressed. So we need a motion to open the
You
public
gotta
hearing,
open and
right?
close it.
Yeah. So can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
yes, that's great.
Our screens aren't working.
I'll second that motion.
You asked them to do it.
Yep, they're dark.
I'm gonna move that we open the public hearing on the rezone request for Namazi subdivisions property located at approximately 1945 East South Weaver Drive, parcel number 132750001 and 132750004 for the zone change on 2 acres from residential low density to residential moderate density with applicant, and I apologize if I don't say this correct, Behrooz Namazi.
And I second that.
It's now open.
Was I close?
I think that's how I said it.
I'll do it for protocol. Paul Sturm, South Weaver City. My one concern on this is the fact that on page 6 of 38, which you just had up, shows 6 lots, yet every other portion of this discussion is 5 lots because of the zone and the maximum of 2.8 dwelling units per acre. With 2 acres, it's 5.6. You cannot get 6 out of it, like is designated there on the screen. I would suggest that you just remove that graphic from the presentation.
Thank you.
It says lot 1 through 6.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Hi, my name is Kathy Turnbull. I live right there on the dead end.
Hold on just 1 second. No, you're fine. I think we want to make sure we're getting what you're saying.
That
So, yeah, part of what was submitted from the applicant, I think they just had 2 pages in there. One was a proposal with 5, there was 6.
Yeah.
That 6th one should have been excluded.
Keep going.
Up or down? Because I've seen the same one twice.
No, they're different.
One more.
That's a 6.
That's the one with 6.
One page.
Get rid of page 7.
Down a little.
Okay.
Or 2 pages.
We apologize for the technical difficulties. Thanks for hanging in there with us.
Bad. Yeah, it still says 1 through 6.
That's what we were confused about.
And we're back.
Okay. My name's Kathy Turnbull. I'm a resident. I live on the corner right where that is showing of 1950, where the dead end is right now. I have two concerns. The one has just been addressed. I was concerned about 6 versus 5. 5 does not seem to bother me as much as the 6. The other concern I have is that when we built our home, we came to the city many times because they gave us a house address of 1950. So our house address and our street address are both 1950. That would mean that if that road stays as 1950, we're going to have to change our address because we're 7470 South 1950. And that is a concern for me. I may as well move because I've got to move everything anyway, even though my house is there. So that is probably my biggest concern, is where our house address and the street address are the exact same number on that cul-de-sac, that what would become a cul-de-sac right there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
My name's Gayla Harris, and we live on 1900. Been there since 1970. And I used to come out when it was just a dirt road and a pea vine. But anyway, my residence really is in Wyoming, but this is my house and I own the property. And I know the Mozzies, and we've been really concerned because kids have been going in there. And I'm afraid somebody's gonna get hurt. All the windows have been knocked out, as everybody knows. I yelled on the other day and they told the kids at school, your grandma was yelling at us. I said, well, it's not yours. You're trespassing and something really bad could come, and I'm sure you guys don't want to pay either, do you? But also they have an infestation of rats and mice over there. Also, the houses, especially the house, has asbestos. Thank you. I'm old. Asbestos in most of them. And we would like to make sure they remedy that. And I know it's going to cost, but and also the mice, I don't know if they can do anything with them, but once they start digging it up, they're going to be over at our house, let me tell you. And we've already had a few. So I don't want to do this anymore. But anyway, I think there isn't any of us that would mind 5 houses over there. I think we'd all be so happy. And I know Fitzgerald's have had their cows over and that, and the kids have fed them, and they're pretty good. They get out once in a while, but that's what farming company, or well, it used to be farming country was, but we love South Weaver. We've been here forever, but we really do not want something that we won't see the mountains again ever, anything like that. And so I hope that, like I said, everybody probably around me would agree 5 houses is wonderful. So I'm good with that.
Thank you.
Thank you. If there is no other comments on this, make it a motion to close public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Chad made it. I seconded.
Yeah, do that first. Do you want to do that first? Yeah, let's do that first. Is the applicant?
It's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah, come on up to the mic and tell us who you are and
Tell us your dreams for
tell us your dreams.
Okay, I'm Deuce Namazi. I'm the applicant. Our family was, we were all raised here in South Weaver. We've been living in South Weaver for a long time. It's our intention to make 5 beautiful homes. We were wondering if we could get 6 just because it's 2 acres, and we saw the neighborhood next to us had smaller lots. And so we were just trying to match them. That's the only reason we put that up. But yeah, I think we can appreciate all the concern. We want to make the city better. We love South Weaver as well. We don't want to do anything to commercialize it too much. So it's just our intention to make 5 beautiful homes and make that better neighborhood. And so it's better maintained, people aren't going in there trashing it. And yeah, so that's it.
Thank you. Did you want to address any of that?
Just to address some of the questions very specifically. maximum lots would be 5. Sorry for my confusion on that. Speaking to the address change, for the Turnbows, your home faces south on the 7470. And so that's, the existing address would stay that. There would be no change or requirement that it shifts. We try and do addresses where the front door is facing. And once you've established that, it's a huge deal to change it. No, you're still gonna address and your access is off 7470, and so that will stay the same.
The house address will be the street address.
The house, is your address right now 1950 East, 7470 South?
House address will be the street address.
Correct. So your concern, just to clarify, sorry, your concern is the 1950 and now 1950.
Yeah.
Okay. We could look at that in subdivision and see if we could do anything to clarify, but I see what you're saying.
And to that point, as far as like our land use responsibility here in discussing and recommending, one direction or the other, that's immaterial, correct?
Correct.
At this
Well,
phase.
With this application.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
So that's the kind of detail that we will get into at the subdivision plat.
correct, yeah. So
So-
yeah, that's nothing of that is going to be approved tonight. or
Yeah.
recommended.
I see what the concern is though, certainly.
And I don't have, I mean, do you have anything on this?
Yeah,
I
speaking
s-
of like opening the discussion now.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
Yeah.
I think this
Just
is
the 5
a
and
great
6 thing was
plan.
my only, and that's been clarified, so.
Yeah, I mean, we're recommending approval for 5 lots in this, in this land here's 5 subdivisions for single family homes. I think that's wonderful. I think it's gonna make that area, the value of that neighborhood increase. It's gonna bring a road in there that's gonna be, useful for everybody there. That, I think that's, and it really does, contemplate the shared vision of that area.
I think my only comment is the smallest of the 5 lots, just to give people perspective, is it's gonna be a 0.23 acre lot. That's not a teeny tiny lot. That's actually a decent sized
Yeah.
lot. So
Yeah,
these
they're pretty
homes
good.
are not going to be, again, high density. It's gonna be on a solid lot. My only question, is I know this is the plat and not the actual subdivision, but because the lot that's gonna be along South Weaver Drive, what's the fencing that's gonna be? What? Yeah, because fencing will be required, won't it? That won't be allowed to stay open with it being the rear of the,
To the public street there, I don't.
because it's basically the back of a house, or what would be the back of a
Technically,
house.
you could have a 6-foot fence
Okay.
along that north property line along the street.
Okay.
I think we'd have to get into that at subdivision.
That's
I don't know that
subdivision.
we
It was just a
could,
thought I had.
yeah,
Yeah, that's, yeah.
I'm
totally
not
part of
sure that we could do anything about that.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything else.
Okay.
Can't. oh,
I'll
yeah,
I'll recommend
transition.
approval.
Yeah, just with the, maybe just mention the amendment on, or do we need
Heart.
to, we
I have
already
one more
talked
thing.
about that?
Sorry, I'm
Make sure we-
interrupting. Sidewalks, because I don't believe there are sidewalks present along South River Drive. I can't tell. If you
There
can
are.
go to page 9 and maybe zoom in on that aerial map,
Yeah,
No, 'cause
there-
look,
I have a photo.
it stops and then
that spot
it
there.
stops.
Oh, there isn't
Oh.
on that spot.
Yeah, 'cause I-
That's the spot.
Yeah.
where-
I don't think there's,
I think it ends.
because is that something
it
that
ends
goes in
right
against subdivision?
So the subdivision
That'll
should
be
address that. We would
Okay.
want to try and, I'm not sure,
So, out of the road.
we
Again,
would
that
at
was-
least require the right of way dedication for that sidewalk and to line up and
Which would be part of any plat approval or
Which
anything
would
else
be
we're
part
doing
of the plat.
approval
Okay.
or later. So right now, it's not relevant.
Yep.
Okay.
well,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not under the control of this application,
Of this
right.
but the
application.
Yeah,
next
yeah.
one, we
Right.
will
Okay.
require that.
Here's.
Okay.
There's a sidewalk there.
It's actually on the other side. I'm good.
Okay. Do you want to go for it?
Yeah, I'll go for it.
Okay.
Let's see, here we go. Move to approve to the city council the rezone request for Namazi subdivision property located at approximately 1945 East, South Weaver Drive, parcel number 132750011 and number 132750004
Zero,
for
3 zeros.
0004 for zone change on 2 acres from RL residential low density to RM residential moderate density. Applicant Bruce Namazi. Yep. Yep, I move to recommend to city council. That's how it started, yeah. Got a cheat sheet.
And I'll second that. And
make sure
then-
that the page is removed.
Oh, yeah, yeah, with the removal of page 6 of 20, it shows the 6 lot, or no, not 6 of 20.
Yeah. The
7 of 20. Yeah,
7 of 28.
so there's no confusion there.
Yeah, just so we're clear. And roll call.
I will second that amendment.
Oh, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay,
prior
never
to
mind.
the
You beat me to it.
And we'll do a roll call vote, right? Correct? Commissioner Losi,
I'm a yes.
Commissioner McFadden,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. Okay, we'll move into, do you want to quick overview on the 7513 South, 1900 East?
Sure. Yes, absolutely. Very similar.
Mhm.
It is going from agricultural to moderate density on 1.8 acres. At that acreage and the allowed density, maximum density in the RM zone would allow for 5 lots. Single family use was the concept plans that we have seen. None were submitted with the application like the first application, but request. But that is the direction it's going. The future land use map or projected land use map does show it also going to moderate density, and this is consistent with that, so.
Thank you. And can I get a motion to open?
Yeah, I move to open the public hearing to rezone request for Brimley property located at 7513 South, 1900 East, parcel number 132910001 for zone change of 1.8 acres from A agricultural to RM residential moderate density. Applicant Grandin Brimley. So,
I'll second.
All in favor?
Yes.
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 And then just a reminder to keep your comments to 3 minutes and state your name and address.
Yep, this is your time to make a public comment.
Just a question, is it similar to the one off South Weaver Drive where it would be a cul-de-sac with 5 homes? Or just
And what's your name? Sorry.
Christy Olson? Mhm. South Weaver, Utah, 84405.
And we'll address any questions after the public hearing is over.
Okay, perfect. That was my only question.
Thank you. A major concern, Stan Dunbar from South Weaver. Can I approach that real quick to show you where I live?
I'm
Because
sorry,
there's a
say your
big-
name again.
I said Stan Dunbar,
Stan
South
Dunbar.
Weaver.
Thank you.
Can I approach that real quick, show you where I live? Because I have a big concern about a hill there.
Mhm.
My house is right here. And all right here, you've got a 30 to 40-foot hill. And if you put a house there and you dig that away, you're gonna undermine my property. I wanna know why. What you do about it. Because if you don't shore it up or support that, my property goes down. Thank you.
Stan, would you mind giving us your exact address just so we can have it on record?
7528 T Lane.
Did you get that, Michelle?
Technically, we don't put the address.
Oh, okay. I did. No, I just meant for the reference to the hillside. Can we reference that? Just so that he knows the address and the concerns. Okay.
Kelly Fleming, and I live in South Weaver. I will state that the fact that it's
Yeah, can we? Yeah, thanks.
I will state that for both of the, because I wanted to wait to hear about the Brimley property, because I'm in the Cove neighborhood right across the way. That both properties, I'm glad that they're not apartments or townhomes or anything. So I will state that it's better than what I was worried about. But I guess overall, I just want to state that we're a military family, so we've lived in a lot of places. And every time we move somewhere, we try to find a place that's this perfect in between of like, you're not in the middle of nowhere, but you're also not in the congestion of, say, Clearfield or Clinton. And so South Weaver was kind of that. It's really still a little rural, but still suburban. And so I'm a little worried about just overall seeing how a lot of these rural spots along South Weaver Drive are starting to get bought up, even though they're houses. It's more houses, it's more people, it's more congestion. It's more pollution. I already have to deal with a sand pit that I won't even start to address today. My doors are now creaking and a new car. So anyway, that's besides the point. So just overall, I want to state that I am concerned about that. And personally, I absolutely love the tree on this property. I love it. It's so beautiful. I know it's one tree, but if anybody could save that tree in building homes, that would be wonderful. That's really all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you said Kelly Fleming.
Kelly Fleming.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful that there will not be apartments on any of these properties. I will say though, if you guys have ever noticed when you drive down South Weaver Drive, it is that little spot where you still see some nature. There's not all these homes smack dab next to each other, fences. But you guys, that property is also going to be, you're driving out the deer. The deer come down there. We have seen them and they're going to be gone. So this also affects the environment, these natural animals that we may not see during the day or evening. Where are they going to go? They're being pushed out of their environment. And that's not a whole lot left in even South Weaver for them. If we go down South Weaver Drive, which is not about this hearing, look at all the homes they have completely, and now the deer can't be there either. They're gonna have to widen South Weaver Drive to accommodate all the traffic. So for such a small little area here, to consider to just take up every little piece of property just to make a profit concerns me, because while we are living here, that's the same reason why we moved here from very far away. We just love this community and we want to preserve it as much as we can. And so I'm appreciative of this open meeting, and I just wanted to share that. I feel bad for the deer that they have to go elsewhere now and we won't be able to see them as readily. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
One question, if you don't mind. Have you done a traffic study? Because South Weaver Drive sucks. Okay, and it's going to get worse when you start building all these townhomes and all this other stuff on there. Anytime 89 or I-15 has any problems, South Weaver Drive's a parking lot. How have you addressed parking issues? Because the traffic issue on that road, because when you start building these homes and all that, it's just going to get worse. Is there any plans to put in a traffic light anywhere? Because trying to get out on South Weaver Drive on any other street is almost impossible. So that's a big question. Thank you.
And they don't like to mess with it. Sorry,
Okay, can I get a motion to close public hearing?
I move to close the public hearing on rezone request for Brimley property.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Yes.
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 Sorry, I was writing something down.
Okay.
Is the applicant here? Oh, right here. Yeah. You just can go to the mic and state your name and.
Grady Brimley and the applicant. We didn't submit plans for what the lots look like, because this was just a rezone, but just to answer, a couple questions, we're not sure exactly which route we're going, but the hill wouldn't be touched. I don't think we'd be allowed to build anything over there, but none of our plans had anything in the hill. I'll let Lance ask or answer any of the other questions, but thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, the tree. We love the tree too. So.
What do you got, Lance?
Okay, so just some of the questions. The hill would be addressed in the subdivision process. We will look at the geologic impacts and the hill slope, and if it's a certain slope, I'm not 100% sure what the slope is. Obviously, it's a little bit steep. That will need to be addressed. Potentially a geologic hazard study, make sure that it does not move and that wouldn't impact that lot that's adjacent. If that would be looked at in part of the review process, and conditions may be put on there to make sure that there's nothing done to that. Let's see, it could be a cul-de-sac or a hammerhead, depending on the design. Both are allowed in the subdivision code. Yeah, and growth, I can't say anything about that. We have the challenge of, we have property rights and balancing that with this community. I think South Weaver's doing everything they can to manage that growth and keep it under control. Yeah. Any questions for me?
No, but yeah, just a reminder that, yeah, this is just for the rezoning of the property. So everything else that needs to be addressed will get addressed, and all the studies that need to be done will get done before anything else does move forward on it. Anything from the council? Commission, whatever we are.
Commission, yeah.
I'll admit, I wish that I could see the plat to kind of see the lots that you guys are anticipating, because it's kind of hard to approve it without kind of knowing the intention. I always get a little bit of heartburn. What? Go ahead.
Just to clarify though, both of these you guys are making a recommendation. It'll go then to the city council for their final approval.
Yeah. And with that, if you do have any concerns that you don't feel were addressed, you can go to city council, and during public comment, because this is the only chance you get a public hearing on the item, you can still make a general public comment about the items on the agenda. Again, back to what I was saying. So I get a little heartburn when we go up to zoning levels. And I don't know if there was any reasoning why it was going from agricultural to a residential moderate versus looking into potentially doing a residential low density. That's my only thing, because looking at the surrounding area, I feel like these are a little bit larger lots, but I also get you are a homeowner or property owner, you have rights, and residential moderate, correct, is what the future land use designation on the general plan
That's correct.
puts here. Okay. I can't go against thousands and thousands of citizens who helped pull that general plan together and put that zoning out there, so.
No, not right now.
Not really.
So just for the public record here, I've driven by this lot, several times in my life, and both Commissioner Scola and myself both were like, when that went up for sale, we totally wanted to buy that house. Like, that it's such a cool Tudor style home. It's got just a real charm to it. I also mentioned that, like when I lived in Seattle, there were zoning codes that required trees of a certain size to not be disturbed, in construction of housing around it. And I say all that because I think it's wonderful that somebody has purchased this land and has a vision for it, and I think that's great. Does Commissioner Scola or I wish that we could have bought it and do something with it? Yeah, absolutely. And that those property rights there entitle them to certain things. And so I'm glad this is single family development. I'm excited to see what plan that's going to create as far as lot division, subdivision there. I think as commissioners, planning commissioners, we are appointed and we are responsible to the code. And I think that this rezone does match what the general plan does, contemplate. And so I don't have any necessary questions about it, but I wanted to just kind of share that with the body here.
And there's no intention on keeping the existing house, correct? The existing house
We actually, I think most likely will.
will keep the existing house, so the other
Hmm.
4 lots
Oh,
will
that's
then be built
fantastic.
around.
Yeah, there won't be 4 lots. I mean.
That's what I'm trying to
I don't know if it's
visualize.
allowed, but I think most likely there'll be 3 additional lots. One in the back that would that hill would be like yard space.
Mhm.
The other side.
Do you want to, if, I'm okay with you addressing some more if you just want to stand up to the mic though,
So everybody, yeah.
so we
for-
can hear
for
you.
Online as well.
I don't know if we can pull up the aerial. This one doesn't do any good.
Yeah, we hope to keep the house, and I think with that, hopefully as many trees as we can. I think the big, I don't want to speak to that because I think we need to look at it with our engineer to make sure, but that would be our hope. There would be, the current plan that we're contemplating is, 1 lot up front, all facing kind of a cul-de-sac, and then the house, another lot, and then a back lot that would be larger because that unbuildable space.
Okay.
No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Will the pumpkin patch come back
Yeah.
every year? No, I'm just kidding.
We hope.
Anything else? No, we good? Can I get a motion?
I'll do it since you did the last one. Okay, regarding the rezone of Bimley property at 7513 South, 1900 East, I am going to move to recommend approval to the city council, the rezone request. Do you need the additional information spelled out?
Yeah, you need to repeat.
Repeat the whole thing? Okay. The rezone request for Brimley property located at 7513 South, 1900 East, parcel 132910001 for the zone change of 1.8 acres from agricultural to residential moderate density by applicant Brandon Brimley.
I'll second that motion.
And we'll do roll call. Commissioner Losey?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner McFadden? No, yeah. And I'm a yes. Do we want to talk on 8 or do we just want to discuss it or what?
I think we did a little.
However
Can we
you'd
have a
like me
little
to-
presentation from you first?
I'll just go over the request, and the application is for short-term rental at 8081 South 2575 East. It's a single-family home. In reviewing the short-term rental requirements for the city, I've, in the staff report, just gone through and addressed each one, and it does comply. We're recommending two conditions of approval. Some would go in depth a little bit, just to ensure that those items are addressed for code. The code, technically, they have to meet the code even if it was approved. This just helps to clarify that these items need to be maintained long-term. It's gotta get a business license, gotta pay taxes, gotta keep noise and occupancy down and part of the neighborhood, no camping, no pets and no signage, and the property must stay maintained. So those are all elements that are in the code, but we throw them on there as conditions of approval, just to help ensure that everybody understands what's required.
And then I just want to be clear, like by us are recommending the use
You
of
are
it.
approving
Or we're
it.
just-
Yeah,
We're approving it. So are we're potentially approving without all those things in place, or they
Well, that would be
still
a-
have to happen no matter what anyway?
Staff's recommendation is that you include, approve with these
With all those.
conditions.
Okay.
Just to be abundantly clear that these things are required.
I had a question, and it was just because the applicant, I know one of the conditions for short-term rentals is that they have to actually occupy the property when it's not being utilized as a short-term rental. And it looks like from the address that there's actually a West Jordan property that is not anywhere near South Weaver. So is it an owner occupied property?
Is the occupant
No,
here?
it's
Is,
not.
yeah, if the
Yeah, can
applicant
we-
is here and you don't mind coming up, that would
If
be
you
great.
want to,
So my parents are currently with us. My mother had some medical issues, and so they've been with us so that we can take care of those medical issues. But their hope is to move back to the home. We've had family members a family member that has been occupying the residence and been taking care of the residents while they are there. We're hoping that their medical issues resolve and they can move back. But in the meantime, being able to rent it out will be able to help with some of their medical expenses and to help to maintain the home.
Can I ask you what your name is?
My name is Kimber Brockbank. And so they are they're at my home currently.
And just for clear,
We do have a business license. We've done all of the tax requirements. We've gone through everything on there to make sure that that's all up to date and ready to go.
And your parents are the owners of record on the home, correct?
Correct. They're not very mobile right now, so I'm stepping in for them.
And I think as long as was the parking adequate, because I know that it said that they could have up to 13 people at the property, but there's only 7 spaces and they're all on-site parking. Because where this is located at the top of the cul-de-sac, there's actually not a lot of available street frontage for parking. Do we feel like as a city that that's sufficient parking spaces?
We would only be renting it out to like one family at a time. So if they have multiple cars, there are large driveways. And so two separate driveways, and all of those parking lots would be on the driveways. Nothing would be on the street.
And I think I looked at the Google Maps, so hopefully it's accurate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so no, I don't have any more questions.
Okay.
for you. Yeah, thank you. I think just my comments, I mean, I think the last time we addressed short-term rental, it was in a situation where it was in violation of the city code. And so, as we approve not business license, but the approval for a rental, in town, that, I think that the city takes it very seriously, that these regulations are adhered to, because if they're not, we'll be back in here again. And so that's, as we approve that, I just want to make that very abundantly clear that, like it is a privilege that, has a lot of responsibilities there.
and my concern just with that would be if the limit on how many people can stay at one time.
13 is what it's in the application.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of people.
Lance, is that something that's set by the code, or is that something that's
I
asked for
don't-
by the applicant?
I couldn't remember.
Code? Joel was nodding his head. He would-
Yeah, I saw him.
Yeah. Is that based on square footage, Joel? Of the home? The number of people that are permitted, or is it bedroom count? If you recall.
When we did the code, if I remember correctly, it is based on the number of bedrooms, beds that you can have. So if you have 1 bedroom, then you can have a max of 2. And they have to be the bedrooms. I would definitely check first.
So 5 bed, because it says 5 bedrooms on the application. So and if you're saying, wouldn't that drop that number down to 10 instead of 13?
Unless you're saying
It's on page 25 of 28, if you
living-
need a reference point.
next up might be, oh, it's right there. That was on it.
Or is that also anticipating, I'm guessing
One
that
to
the 13
13.
is coming from the number of employees. Is that where that number came from?
You'd have to ask the applicant, I don't know.
Can you confirm, deny? Thumbs up.
If you could come back to the mic and yeah, just if you could clarify
And state your name.
your number for
My name
13.
is Courtney Wilcock and where do I live? I'm homeless. I stay in the house when it is available to me and other times I stay with family. There is currently two, do you need to know like what the beds are? Like
Just
we
how many
have-
bedrooms are in the home?
There's one, two, five bedrooms.
5 bedrooms. Okay.
2 king beds, a queen bed, and the rest are twins.
1 queen, you said?
Correct.
And that's 5 bedrooms including.
Oh, sorry, we have 1 queen, 2 fulls, and 3 twins. Whew.
And that's 5 bedrooms, including the occupant's bedroom, or 5 additional bedrooms,
That's 5 bedrooms in all.
5 bedrooms in all.
I would not be there when it is being
Right.
rented. Sorry.
We have one room that just has bunk beds for kids. So that's what that is.
Double set of bunk beds?
Yes,
Single
so-
set? So
yeah.
So you've
beds.
essentially
Two
got
doubles.
13 beds.
Right, it has 13 beds. And
Okay.
so, and there's 2 sets of bunk beds in one room, which is what took it up to the 13.
Gotcha.
So we just we have a special little kids room for,
Cool.
that's.
You're welcome to come look. You have family that needs to come stay.
Great. No, that's great.
And I don't know if, is it okay if I make a comment? real
Absolutely.
quick?
This is your chance.
Lance, which one's Lance?
Lance is in the green shirt.
Green shirt. Hi, my name's Courtney. Nice to meet you in person. He helped us with there was an illegal business going on next door and he helped us clean that up. So thank you. It's been much better.
He's been wonderful, so we're really grateful for him.
Do you want to know what illegal business was going on?
So
Don't bring it up. I think
So-
as long as. and
am I
I'll-
just confused on how it's not, if it's different than, like, what's the differences?
If there's 5 rooms and
Well,
it's
I
a
mean,
maximum of
compared to-
2 per room,
I
unless
think-
But
you have
there's
twins.
not gonna be
But we haven't
occupants,
validated
there's not gonna be occupant in the house.
I just want to make sure our math is mathing.
Right. Well,
That's the big thing.
So they confirm they have 13 beds.
Mhm.
And so by virtue of the fact they have 13 beds and they have on their application 1 to 13, like that seems to match.
Okay. Makes sense, as long as the math is mathing.
Yeah.
And then we're okay with, I think I was under the impression that maybe the occupant would be like,
Staying with the
staying
family.
in the house.
They
Staying
are
in the
in
home
there
when it's not rented.
yes.
When it's
Right,
rented,
but then
they're
it's,
living with
but
family.
when it's empty, then it just turns into this house that we had issues with.
Oh, cobblestone?
I'm just saying, you don't have anybody there supervising
No, when it's not rented.
when it is rented.
Oh, when it is, yeah, because when it's.
When it is rented, it could just be a
rented,
party
It's,
and photo shoots.
it's the.
And everything that we had
short-term
before.
rental.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
If we could keep the comment, if we could keep the talking down in the crowd, please. Thank you.
so basically, the way I understand it is when they rent it, when somebody rents that. home-
Marty, could you hang on just a second? Let's,
yeah, we'll let everybody exit.
Sure. yeah.
and then speak into the microphone.
Oh, yeah. Well, if we had all 5, we would be all.
Yeah. Where's our picture?
Yeah. Fine.
Nobody told us to dress up.
Yeah. I remember that day. I guess I'm just lost. I'm
Yeah.
caught up on it.
Well, and it's been a minute since we've had a short-term rental application. Sorry, ladies, can we ask you guys to keep your comments? Sorry.
You guys
Um,
need to speak up.
Yeah, we need to speak up.
Because it sounds like you're having a sidebar over here. And that's.
Oh, no, we're
No,
discussing.
Thank you. Yeah,
We're
we need
discussing.
to be a lot more.
I will talk
open
into
here.
the microphone so everyone can hear me.
So I think where we have some confusion, Lance, and maybe you can help us with this, is the policy for the short-term rental. When the short-term rental is rented, is the owner supposed to be on site as well? Or is the owner only supposed to be occupying the site when it's not rented?
So section 10-18-12, primary residence of the short-term rental code says that single-family homes that operate a short-term rental, this home, shall be the primary or principal place of residence of the property owner. I did not interpret that as, and they are living there. In this case, I knew that they were away for medical reasons and that they were doing that. I believe, listening to some of the concerns, I think the intent of that was, and they would be living there while they're renting it.
Yeah, even when we went over it, I think that's how
I
I
wasn't
was
here for that, so
interpreting it.
I don't know. So I'm not 100%
Right.
sure. I thought it meant what the language we have, it is their primary residence. They're just not there right now. But,
Because I
I
remember
think we
some applicant that we approved, they said that they had family members in town that they would stay at while they rented it, but it was still their primary residence when it wasn't rented.
right.
And so it sounds like it's not, there's ambiguity. It's not clear. It doesn't say solidly that they have to be there while it's rented. It just needs to be their primary residence.
That was my
Primary-
interpretation.
Primary
The
residence
primary
meaning
residence.
it's where they live most of the time. That's where they stay.
And I was confident of that 10 minutes ago. I'm not now.
Now you're questioning. And I will say, because we did have the applicant, and I do not believe either of you were on the commission at the time, is the one that was the military, that he was
No, I was there.
buying. You were
That was
there.
one
You
of
were
my
perfect.
first
So he was one that
meetings.
was wanting to buy the house and short-term rental it. Well, he was not intending to occupy it, and it was meant to not be his primary residence. It was actually going to be held as an LLC. And that one got denied.
That's correct.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
And that very specifically was, he could be out on,
Yep.
yeah, exercise or deployment.
Yep. Deployment.
And
Still
this
rent the
house
home.
would be a money generating thing during that.
Because I believe one of the active short-term rentals that we have right now, and correct me if I believe the last name was Lopez, it's their primary residence and they rent it out. And when it's rented, they are not staying in the
That's
home.
correct, yeah.
It is rented to whoever short-term. And then when the short-term period ends, they then reoccupy the home, but it is their primary residence.
Yes.
So I don't know if that helps.
I don't know if it helps. It is my primary residence right now, but if we could start renting it out, I would be staying with family and I would be available anytime, night, day. I have nothing stopping me from being there in an emergency. So,
Okay.
but it is currently my primary residence. I don't know if I need to be on the application then.
Okay.
Does that make sense? But
Here's my other concern, and this is, you can sit down for a
sure,
second.
it's
'cause
my aunt
not
and
you.
uncle's home. It's my aunt and uncle's home. So
Are you on title?
no,
Okay.
That's a concern.
My parents.
it's her
are on
parents.
title. It's
The
their-
parents are the owners of record on title.
Yes.
And it is their primary home. Like they still get their mail there,
Okay. I'm speaking into the mic, so this is on record. I think I have a concern only with obviously there's a medical reason why the owners of record do not occupy the residence. I understand that, but I think that complicates the application. And I think this is something that we maybe need to table so that we can get additional information and clarification. That's just my 2 cents
I agree with that.
off the bat.
Yeah, because I mean, on its face, it doesn't meet the city's code. Because, and I think that you're wonderful people. But, yeah, right. But because the person who is occupying the home is not on title, there's much less responsibility there. There's a lot less liability, risk, and responsibility. Nothing against your character. But yeah, like,
Why we're here, and that's, when we decided to go this route, we wanted to make sure we were doing everything by the book, and which is why we reached out to Lance and why we've taken all of the steps that we possibly could to make sure that we're being as responsible and as respectful to the community as well. If needs be, we could add Courtney to the title so that she can be there as well. And that wouldn't be a problem. We would just need to call the title office and make sure that her name's added there. And I don't think that would be a problem. My mom's been a real estate agent
that's
and a
good. Yeah.
broker.
And my issue isn't your intent or what you want to do with it. in the slightest. Like, I mean, the intent, I understand, and I mean, I support it. I guess I'm just looking at it from the potential, I mean, just the consequences of what short-term rentals can be.
And our role is to protect the
and,
city
yeah.
and to follow the code. That's
For
it. It's
sure.
not emotional. It's not
Yeah.
personal.
For
It's to
sure.
protect the city through the code.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
think this
agree
might
that we should
continue.
table it.
Oh,
Just continue.
do you have something else,
Well,
Lance?
You guys can do whatever you'd like. The thought I'm having is add a condition of approval
Mhm.
that, so that you can, if you wanted to approve it with a condition of approval that says, and shall be owner occupied when not rented as a short-term rental. And then they would have to document that in order to get the actual short-term rental license. So you could approve it
Sure.
with that condition.
Yeah.
And that'll give them time to clarify. If you want to get, and that way you don't have to table it and push it to another month. Just as an option.
Can you restate? You were saying owner of record has to be, sorry, restate what you just said, please.
The Occupant.
Occupant has to
the-
be on owner of, recorded as an owner of record. The occupant must be an owner of
The
record.
primary. I was
said it
just
really good
reading
the
the
first
You
code,
said it really good the first time, and that's, I apologize.
that the ownership be modified so that the primary,
Occupant.
that the owner is this is their primary residence. Something like that.
I mean, if you want to say it, great. Otherwise,
If you know what it is, I didn't get it.
Okay,
so
all
I
right.
know the intent.
I'm gonna go ahead and give a crack at it here.
Or give it a
Give it a whirl.
shot.
Okay, I move to recommend approval to the city council. The Johnson property,
This doesn't go to the council.
sorry,
is
just
us.
reading
Your
my
approval.
cheat sheet that
Oh.
somebody made for me.
You guys are the deciding body on this. Yeah, you're the deciding body.
Then I'll change this because somebody put that
It's
in.
I scratched.
I
it out.
move, okay, all right. I move to approve. I move to approve with conditions of that the occupant is is on sorry.
I know what you're trying to say.
Primary
Right.
owner be the
Primary.
occupant.
Yeah,
Owner,
yeah,
occupant.
yeah, the primary owner occupant is on the title of record. At the Johnson property, conditional use permit request for short-term rental at 8081 South, 2575 East, parcel 131-250030, applicant Kimball Johnson.
Just,
And all the other conditions as listed in the staff
listed
report,
in the
or do you
staff
not want those?
yes. we
And
do.
all the other conditions as listed in the staff report. Yeah.
And can I ask Michelle, do you mind reading that back just so I can understand the motion?
Good luck.
Yes, I will read that back.
Thank you.
Commissioner McFadden moved to approve the Johnson property conditional use permit request for short-term rental at 8081 South 2575 East, parcel 131-250030, applicant Kimball Johnson, with the following conditions. Number one, completion of a business license with South Weaver City. Number two, ongoing compliance with city code sections A through F or G there. And then number three, the primary owner occupant is on the title of record of the Johnson property.
Does it need to state as owner of record or is that intuitive?
That's just it.
It's intuitive. Okay,
That's pretty good.
She said it better.
I'll second
She
that.
did, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she just read the
She
staff
read that
report
off.
though.
That was on there. Yep.
Thank you.
I seconded it.
then-
You're good. So roll call.
Roll call, Commissioner Losi,
Yes,
Commissioner McFadden.
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
we worked that out.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And good luck. You'll be hearing from us if it doesn't work out. Not us.
No, from Lance,
Lance.
from Lance.
You'll be hearing from Lance.
We'll send Lance. That's his favorite thing. Any new business? Anything? No?
I have two things.
Oh.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Actually, it's just a question. First is the trees along 2700 East. They're dead, they're dying, they're falling over. I'm just wondering what is the timeline? I understand that they are being removed because of the whole Weaver Basin conservation. I'm just curious what's happening there. because they're now ugly and they make me sad. So, and everybody left, so they couldn't hear my tree comment. I'm trying to save trees, but these ones, they haven't been watered is my understanding. And there is one tree that the top half has actually fallen over, luckily not into the road. It fell into the ditch. But I was just curious if we had any knowledge and if anybody on the council is sitting on a committee that knows what's going on with that.
So from my understanding right now is the pipe project is not done.
Yes.
And the second part of the pipe project is going to come through and do continual damage over to that area over there. So then the question is, while working with them, here's the trees. They are going to have to replace those trees when they come through and re-landscape that area. If we have trees there for them to replace. If we go and take them down, then the question becomes, what trees?
What trees?
So it's kind of in that mishy mushy type of timey-wimey, wobbly, where if we move them, then we don't really have them up on there. We do recognize that, yeah, they're dead. We're trying to get some of the biggest, bestest, prettiest trees that we can get, but
What about the 15 that have already through being hit, being run over, being slid into via the wind that have all disappeared?
Yep.
Will those at all be considered for replacement?
that's the negotiation we're having with them.
Okay, can I be on
is-
that committee?
Well, there's got to be some sort of revegetation plan.
And that's just it, is that we do, and they are willing to do that. Does that mean dead trees qualify for it? Or
No, I
do we
mean
have
like
to
an
plant new
actual,
trees or
like, isn't there like a document that's like, here's the revegetation plan?
The
not
landscaping?
when we work with the state?
Yep. Especially because that whole corner, I will say the mayor did
like-
follow up with that
Yes.
corner along 2,700
Uh-huh.
where it turns into 8,200. It is no longer the mud pit that it was.
Yeah.
And it's been cleaned up, so it's looking nicer. It's not looking as nice as it could, but I know that it's still an active construction staging area, so I get it.
So it's still a little vague on it.
I'd
but
press
yeah.
them on that because, I mean, I've had to, not gift, but what's the word? They've eminent domain, they've taken over part of some property that I've,
Yeah.
well, not even condemned, they were widening a road, right?
Yeah, where
But
they're
they
putting in
had-
an
they had like
easement, they don't
800
have to condemn.
pages, of documentation, what they're gonna do with that piece.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't know.
The documentation is already available, and like I said, it's pretty vague on when they have to do, and the
what
issue
they
of
have
whether
to
the
do.
tree is alive or dead isn't considered in it. This is what they signed with the state and everything, so we have very little control over it, but we got a good mayor who's gonna be trying to,
Do what he can.
do some influence and see
We
what
need
we
a
can get.
petrified tree forest there.
I'm gonna start putting
I'm
bamboo
looking for
sticks because that
oaks
counts as a
or
living
black
material,
walnut,
right?
something big,
It's a
it'd be
tree.
great.
What about the trees that you got on the other side of the city?
They're supposed to be putting those back in. Again,
hope.
that'll be when the work is completely done though.
Let's hope.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys like my conversation topics. So one more. And this was actually a thought that I had after the last meeting where we had the rezone by the caps. And with where that parcel is going in, I was curious if there's been any conversation about an on-ramp, off-ramp exit, kind of like we have at 475 to 84. And my reasoning for that is to try to pull traffic off of South Weaver Drive. And with those new connections that are going in, there's a long stretch between where 475 is and South Weaver Drive exit. And I was just curious if there's been any conversation about potential access on 84.
It's like another bridge?
Like what is over Adams Parkway?
A bridge over or?
Well, how else are
Highway
you gonna
access.
get like highway access? So either off ramps, but then you'd have to have on ramps going to
Yeah.
the eastbound side.
Location are you talking about?
You know what? TBD. I don't know. I'm just curious if there's been any conversation about it because we've got somewhere between where 475 is and where South Weaver Drive exit is,
So technically they could put one in.
kind of
because they have to
narrowing
be-
in where the CAPS
Yeah.
property was
Hmm.
just rezoned and development is going in. And we're gonna be expanding Old Maple Road. Old Fort Road? What's the road that
Yeah.
runs along 84 Old Fort Road?
So Cass property is actually closer to South Weaver Drive, but I mean, you're talking about,
But the development that's gonna, it
yeah, like on the other
extends
side of that,
to where 84 is.
yeah, like, I mean, that's a conversation to have with UDOT.
Is that UDOT?
Yeah, that's totally UDOT because
It is UDOT, and I do know that we have approached them about having a emergency access through it, and they even slammed that down.
Okay.
So my guess is they don't have any plans to put any type of.
It was
new
a late
on
night
that.
squirrel thought, but I was just curious because I know that is a concern that a lot of citizens have brought up in case of emergency, in case of access, in case of alternative routes. And we all know my feelings about going up and over the hill to Layton, so this might be another alternative. So I was curious. That's all.
Everything?
no,
I don't either.
I move to close the meeting.
I'll second.